Macmillan Audio presents The Power of Women by Susan Nolen Hoeksema. Read for you by the author.
I believe the strengths that women bring to every corner of their lives fall into 4 groups, and that every woman can harness these strengths. Women have mental strengths, namely a particular form of mental flexibility that allows them to be creative and nimble in finding solutions to problems they confront. They focus on getting things done, not just on doing things their way. Women have identity strengths that allow them to maintain a strong sense of themselves and their values in whatever situations they find themselves. They can deal with change and uncertainty because their sense of themselves is not dependent on what they do or have, but who they are. Women have emotional strengths, the ability to understand their own feelings and those of others, and to use this understanding to cope with distressing circumstances. These emotional strengths also allow women to anticipate the emotional consequences of various life situations, which makes them particularly adept at making major decisions. Women have relational strengths, understanding others' perspectives, which then helps women create strong social networks that support them during stressful times. They seldom indulge in rage and arrogance, even when they are justified in doing so, and look for mutually satisfying ways of solving conflicts. Every day, women utilize their strengths to lead others to better lives, whether it be their children or partners, their neighbors or friends, or their coworkers or employees. In quiet ways and in bold ways, they take others by the hand and lift them up. They build and nurture lives, they create and inspire organizations, and they leave a radiant mark on the world. Transforming the world. Women are transforming the world and transforming the face of power. Women-owned firms make up 40% of all privately held businesses in the United States, employing 7.3 million people and generating $1.1 trillion in revenues per year. In 1972, women held only 18% of managerial and administrative positions in the U.S. government, but by 2002, that percentage had increased to 46%. In 1979, only 3% of members of the U.S. Congress were women, compared to 17% after the 2008 election. Women have been elected to statewide executive offices in 49 of the nation's 50 states. Outside the United States, women are also making big political gains. Angela Merkel, the 52-year-old physicist-turned-politician, became Germany's first woman chancellor in 2005, ousting the incumbent Gerhard Schröder. In 2006, Michelle Bachelet, a moderate socialist, was elected Chile's first female president. Reformer Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became the first female president of an African country, Liberia. And Han Myung-suk, a former dissident once jailed as a political prisoner, was inaugurated as South Korea's first female prime minister in April 2006. These trends in women assuming major leadership positions are inspiring, but women have been transforming the world for millennia by unleashing their strengths to meet the needs they see. Every day, in simple, unobtrusive, but powerful ways, women enrich their own lives and the lives of others. Let me illustrate with a story of Terry, a 42-year-old stay-at-home mom in the tiny town of Stonington, Illinois. Terry is the last person on earth to think she is powerful and strong, but she's had a huge impact on the community and lives of hundreds of people. One day in early December, a couple of years ago, Terry ran into a woman she knew casually named Annette in the grocery store. The conversation naturally ran to what their families were doing for Christmas. Terry began to name the toys she had gotten her 2 kids when she noticed a twinge of sadness in Annette's eyes and a slump in her shoulders. It turned out that Annette's husband had been laid off a few weeks earlier, and the family was already desperate for money. There would be no toys for Annette's children this Christmas. Terry comforted Annette as best she could, and then the women went their separate ways. The conversation niggled at Terry for the rest of the day, however. She knew there were a lot of families in the area in the same position as Annette's family. Farmers were struggling and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?